Luke 17:20-21. Once Jesus was asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God was coming, and he answered, "The kingdom of God is not coming with things that can be observed, nor will they say, 'Look, here it is,' or 'There it is.' For, in fact, the kingdom of God is within you."
I made a mistake in putting my sermon after Cheryl's. I'm sorry. I recently attended 2 AA groups that had started meeting here at HUCC about a month ago. And one of the women was telling her story, beginning with when she was about 12 years old, took her first taste of alcohol. It tasted bad, but boy, how it made her feel. Wow. She said, "This is it. This is what I've been looking for. Freedom, feeling alive, feeling real, feeling really good." And as she was talking, other people in the room were nodding their heads, identifying with that first drink, which is typical of alcoholics. People prone to addiction have more than just a little buzz when they have their first drink. They get lit up with exhilaration. And so they begin sharing their stories of how looking for that satisfaction, drove them to lose their jobs, their families, their health, their self-worth, until they found AA. One of the men in the group said, "Our family was at a swimming pool this last summer, and I looked up and suddenly saw my 5-year-old son at the top of the high dive board getting ready to jump off. He's just 5 years old. And it was then I knew he too was looking for it, doing whatever it would take to make him feel better." So when you think about it, who doesn't have that urge, that thirst for the elusive it? What Cheryl was talking about, really, peace, harmony, freedom, feeling really alive, joy, connectedness. Maybe we try to get it from our relationships, or from trying to be smarter, or faster, or better, or richer, or more successful, or more perfect, or more accepted, more appreciated, more loved. When we can't find that it, we might escape into video games, or comfort food, or porn, or romance novels, the women's version of porn, or affairs. I think I'm in trouble now. Or workaholism, or crises. I need to get our minds off of that emptiness, that craving, that we feel like we're missing something. Or maybe we just shut down in bitterness or cynicism, smoldering anger, quiet desperation. Now, I apologize if I somehow missed your way of dealing with this emptiness and didn't make you squirm. I'm sorry if I didn't. But if you're human and you live this side of enlightenment, you know what I'm talking about. We all live with some degree of estrangement from some of our fellow human beings, from the creation that nourishes us, from our deepest selves, from God, the creator of it all. And so we're hounded by this feeling of something being missing in our lives. Well, this is not something new, although our culture, I think, has made a science of it. In Jesus' day, the longing was less individual and more collective. They were yearning for national liberation, for national success and triumph, for peace and justice, for being approved of by God. And so they tried sacrifices that were prescribed by the priests. They prescribed legalism that was practiced by the Pharisees. They tried prayers that were taught by the rabbis. They followed messiahs who promised that they would bring them to this it they were looking for. Some called it the kingdom or the reign of God. So let's listen to how Jesus responds to that and responds to our craving today. He said, the kingdom of God is not coming with things that can be observed or bought or drunk or voted for or achieved. Nor will they say, look, here it is, or there it is. He said, no. In fact, the kingdom of God is within you. It's within you. So what is this kingdom of God that Jesus kept talking about but never defined for us? Well, I would say that at its core, it's a dynamic, a life-giving, generative, transforming energy that happens within us when we open our hearts, our minds, our spirits, our lives, our wills to the living mystery that we call God. As Jesus said, we can't find it over here or over there. The truth is that we can only find it where we already are. And the miracle of it is that we can only find it where we already are, no matter where we are. So let's say we're just in a regular old, ordinary, workaday state of mind and going through our mundane lives. But let's now take that scenario and open our minds to the faith of an unseen intelligence, power, presence in whom we live and move and have our being. And let's open our heart to the loving Creator who created us out of love, whose presence is always with us, who's always aware of where we're going and what we're doing, and has the will for our highest good and the good of all. And let's open our spirit to the reality that our mortal lives are unfolding in the context of a timelessness that we call eternity. So when you do that, suddenly our ordinary lives begin to take on an extraordinary flavor. We begin to reflect on the people that have come into our lives to love us, teach us, inspire us, challenge us. And we feel a humble gratitude for them all. Or we may reflect on those times in our lives that challenged us and stymied us and frustrated us. And we begin to see how our capacity for compassion and perseverance and courage and wisdom deepened from that. And we are thankful for those times too. And we think about our capacity to love, to give. We think about our awareness of the world around us and how we can not only be aware of it, but appreciate it and savor it. We think about our ability to have faith, a faith that fills us and lifts us and inspires us. We begin to see that what we have been looking for is right here. It's right here. It's at hand. It's always been at hand. Where did we think we would find it? Or maybe you're dealing right now with a situation that's got you flustered and stymied and stuck and upset and powerless and overwhelmed. One of those times that is inevitable in our lives. Well, that's perfect. God is extending an invitation to you to open your mind to the possibility that something good can come out of what feels so bad. Maybe you can open your heart to God's compassion for you as you struggle, trying the same old ways to get what you think you want that just aren't working anymore. Maybe you can open your will to a wisdom that is higher than anything that you can imagine, that knows what's best for you. And maybe you can begin to pray, not my will, but thine be done. Not my will, but thine be done. And as you release your wisdom and your will to a higher wisdom, a higher power, you might begin to feel that serenity that comes from accepting the things we can't change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We begin to feel a peace, a liberation, a connectedness right in the midst of our loneliness and powerlessness and pain. We've found a glimpse of it at the worst time in our lives, perhaps. Or maybe you're haunted by feelings that you're just not good enough, or not worthy enough, or not fitting in enough. And who doesn't have those feelings from time to time or all the time? Well, that's wonderful. You're right where you need to be, to open your heart and mind to the amazing truth that you are loved beyond all knowing by a God who's so vast and so eternal, who loves you because God created you, and whose love can never fail because it's God's nature to love you perfectly. You don't need to earn this love or prove your worth. There's nothing you can do to achieve it. All you need to do is receive it with humility and gratitude. And when you begin to do that, it becomes so clear, who do you need approval from when you're swimming in the ocean of God's love? Not only will you find a deep love you can center your life on, but you will become an agent for that love, multiplying it in your life and in your world. Or you might feel like your tiny little life lacks meaning or purpose in this vast, immense universe. Well, awesome. That makes you ready to ask God to show you something you can do each day to be a blessing, to make a difference to someone, to make the world a little better. And if you start your day that way and keep that prayer going, you'll soon be waking up, not being able to wait to get out of bed to find out what the next adventure in being a blessing is for your life. You will have found it, a sense of purpose and meaning and fulfillment with verve and vitality and power that takes you to new heights. You will have found that place you've been looking for, your life, making a difference. The kingdom of God is within you, Jesus said. And God reigns in our lives, R-E-I-G-N-S. Anytime we humbly open ourselves to God, to let God's will rule in our lives, that's the it we were created for.